Before the Marvel Cinematic Universe became the biggest movie franchise in history, before there was portals, Infinity Stones, or billion-dollar crossover events, there was one movie with everything riding on it. A studio that had never made a film before, a superhero that wasn't even Marvel's most famous character, a leading man coming off years of personal and professional struggles, and a production where huge portions of the dialogue were made up as they went. Sounds like a recipe for disaster. Instead, it changed Hollywood forever. So today we're going back to 2008 to talk about the film that launched an empire, gave us one of cinema's greatest casting decisions, and ended with 6 words that rewrote the superhero rulebook. I am Iron Man. So suit up, because we hit Iron Man next on Garage 33.
Let's face it, this is not the worst thing you've caught me doing.
So Daphne, what's going on? What's going on with the Scooby-Doo Club over there? Sorry, that's never going to get old for me.
Still looking for my Fred, but we're chilling.
Right on. I do have a new award. I know we talked a little bit about this the other day. This one's all about your brother. So it's a new category that's going to be called the Simon William Dafoe Man Award. So, and it all relates back to anyone that's listened to some previous episodes when Simon was on. He really, really disagreed with a casting option for William Dafoe. So I just remember it was such a classic line. He goes, "William Dafoe, man." So
come on.
Yeah. So we're going to introduce that as someone that you really don't think should have been cast in that role. So that'd be a good one. I'm not sure it really applies to today, but I just wanted to bring it up just because I was having some pretty good chuckles yesterday when they decided to come up with it. So, yeah, I guess let's hit the basics of the movie. It came out May 2008. It's a 126-minute runtime. Rotten Tomatoes gave it 94%, which I was a little disappointed with. I thought it would have been even higher, but the director is Jon Favreau. Cast Robert Downey Jr., Terrence Howard, Jeff Bridges, Gwyneth Paltrow were just the top billet. The budget was $150 million. Box office came in at $585.8 million. Came in 8th that year, which was still pretty good, but it had quite a massive film year that year. Dark Knight, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, Kung Fu Panda, Hancock, Mamma Mia, Madagascar 2, James Bond's Quantum of Solace, and then Iron Man came in 8th. Wall-E and the Chronicles of Narnia. So it was a decent year for film. So
yeah,
for me, I saw it in theater. I was super excited. I'm not a comic book guy, but I love comic book movies. So as soon as I saw this trailer, I knew I was going out to see it. So I saw it, loved it. Because I wasn't a comic book guy, I knew nothing about Iron Man. I'd seen him like in the cartoons and stuff, but very few times. So what's your relation to this movie when it first came out?
Well, surprisingly enough, I'm sure we all know by now, I am not a comic book person either, but I am someone who watches every new superhero movie that comes out. I was 10 years old when this movie came out, and well, actually I was 9. I wasn't even 10 yet. I was 9 years old when this movie came out. So I didn't know anything. And I actually remember distinctly my mom and dad were watching that movie, and both of them loved it, and they watched all 3 of them, and they actually really liked all 3. And as time went on, I actually got more and more surprised about that because my mom does not care for superhero movies at all. She doesn't like them. She doesn't go to movie theaters to watch them. So the fact that she really likes these 3 movies, it kind of proves that it's a movie for everybody. It's not just if you like superheroes, you should watch this movie. It is a movie for everybody.
It really is because it doesn't go over the top with like some of the ones later on, but this one actually reminded me a lot of the original Superman, where it was just it was him. There was no like supernatural bad guy like Superman himself, right? So
Yep.
it was just about him becoming him and then dealing with the things in his life and what's going on around him. So that's why I really
Yeah.
like this one.
And it's also kind of it tackles real world issues as well, right? It has a pretty dark undertone to it as well. It's a war movie on
Yeah.
top of everything. It's literally a war movie, and it does tackle some real world issues when it comes to um America double dipping and selling military grade weapons to other countries, and it really tackles that, but puts like a more mm, f I guess fantasy twist to it. It's more entertaining.
Yeah.
So
Um, what do you think has aged the best in this film so far? You said that you just recently watched it just a couple days ago,
I
right?
I did recently just rewatch it, and over I I will say I think the CGI that they did use and the fight scenes, they were very clean for 2008, and I know that's not that old, but if you compare it to Marvel movies now, it still holds up. I find it very clean to watch. It doesn't have like that old movie look or feel to it. It does when you watch it, it doesn't seem like the movie is almost 20 years old.
Right. I 100% agree. I actually think the CGI looks better then than it does now, and some of that has to do with the suit changes that evolves over like the next 4 or 5 films or whatever. But um, they actually physically made the suit, and then they use CGI to enhance it. And I think it's like obviously there's some portions of it that they just go all CGI, but um,
Yeah.
it looks more realistic to me. Like the nano suits later on, they all just looks like he's wearing a CGI suit. To me, it doesn't look as good. So that is one of the things I also agree with, that the CGI really it aged well.
It did.
So
And I appreciate this movie more than some of the current Marvel movies going off of what you said, because I do feel like AI and CGI has become too easy to jump to when creating films, and that's why, the newest Avenger movie, or even like the newest Spider-Man movie, not the one that just came out, but No Way Home, was that the one?
yeah,
It you can tell like there's a good chunk of that movie that's all CGI and AI, and you can just tell when watching it. It's clean, it's well done, but um it I have a hard time appreciating that, because it's like it has become so accessible nowadays. So I I like movies from, the Iron Man 1 era, because they did what they could, and I think this movie did a really good job. So
yeah, I agree. Robert Downey Jr.'s performance, I thought, still stands the test of time. He's the incomplete embodiment of what Tony Stark was meant to be, and even Stan Lee, like when he was in there was a video of him talking to Tony in front of like reporters and everything. He's like, "This is exactly who I thought of." Like, obviously, he wasn't thinking about Robert Downey Jr., but like he said, he felt like he was talking to Tony Stark because he was exactly what he pictured when he actually wrote this guy. So I like that. Um, so what do you think has aged the worst then? Like, what's kind of not definitely not stood the test of time, and even though it's only been, was it 9 years, 8 years? Oh no, sorry,
nine,
it's been
8 years.
almost, sorry,
It's
it's been like
almost 20.
yeah.
It's like 18 years.
Sorry, so 18 years,
Um,
yeah.
um, what age the worst?
Well, if you want, I'll go first while you're thinking about it
Go
then.
first. Go first. Go
Um,
first.
outdated technology, like flip phones, these big,
Yeah.
massive computer screens, like not size wise, but like just how chunky they are. Obviously,
Yeah.
that's not.
his slide phone when he gets a FaceTime call and it like slides to
Yeah.
his little screen. I giggled at that.
Yeah. Um, what else was there? Oh, them talking about MySpace, which nobody uses anymore. So, um, yeah, I think that was about it for me for aging well. I don't know if you have anything else.
No, I mean, as the plot goes, dialogue, like we said before, CGI, fight scenes, all of that aged really well. I do have to agree with the technology. I think because like it's just funny because he is creating technology that literally doesn't exist
Mhm.
and but he still uses like an LG slide.
Yeah.
Um so I always I did find that funny. I feel like they should have put a little bit more like they should have made something that doesn't exist at that time. They should have made like a little tablet phone or something like that, especially because when he puts the helmet on, it's all like integrated and he has
Mhm.
all this technology in the helmet and yet, the actual technology in real world doesn't add up. So I
Well,
agree with that one.
even if you don't even look at that, look at when he's building this suit. He's got that 3D rendering floating on the top of the board there, and he literally sticks his
Yeah.
hand down inside, and it wraps around his arm. He can do all that, but he's like you said, he's got a shitty flip phone or slider phone, whatever. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, I agree with that one.
what was your most rewatchable scene?
Um, I really enjoyed the trial and error scene, like his first flight, and when he's just trying on the suit. Um, no, not over the cars, not over cars. This is exactly not where I want to be.
Yeah,
Like that was funny. Dummy the robot was hilarious. Um, I think that was probably like I would watch that anytime if it I really enjoyed that one. Um, or I do also really like the first ever suit when he breaks out of the cave and just starts lighting everything on fire. That was really fun to watch too.
yeah. Mine was I like the interaction with the F-22s. Right, like right after he's in Galmira and he does all that stuff there, which I also enjoyed. But it's the uncertainty from the American pilots. They have no idea what it is. All they know is that all of a sudden now goes supersonic, and they get permission to fire on it. And he drops off the radar, and they can't find him, and he's stuck to the bottom, to the belly of the plane. And they shake him loose and all this stuff, and he saves the pilot. And
Yeah, that was fun.
I really enjoyed that one. What'd you get for your behind the scenes internet research?
I didn't get much. I actually just looked at Robert Downey Jr.'s
Face.
IMDb. Yeah. Um, I just looked at his IMDb because you asked if I thought it was peak, and I'm like, I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea what else he's in. Like it slips my I know him as Iron Man. I don't know him. Oh, Sherlock Holmes. But other than that, I only know
Yeah.
him as Iron Man. So, I was looking through his IMDb, and I kind of went down a rabbit hole. Like, oh my God, what is this? I didn't even know he was in half of these movies. Um, but I find, yeah, that I don't know. That's all I got for that one.
All right. Well, I think I went down a deeper rabbit hole than yours.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you
um,
did.
so Iron Man is basically what kicked off everything for Marvel. I know, like they had Spider Man in the past and stuff like that, but unfortunately, Marvel had gone through such a turmoil time with bad decisions on trying to make films in the past and some other questionable decisions that they were on the verge of bankruptcy. At one point, they even hit that they had to go into bankruptcy. Um, yeah, so they started selling off their licensing rights to like Spider-Man, so that's why Sony did that. And I think there was 4 or 5 others that they also sold off, but they didn't get much money for it, so unfortunately it didn't really help. But um, then after they saw like how well Spider-Man did, then they decided to make some changes and they started to bring in some other people. The people that had the licensing agreement since 1990 for their toys, they wanted to buy Marvel Entertainment. So then there was a battle. Basically, they merged companies, and they brought in a guy. It was Avi Arad. He ends up becoming the producer on a lot of the films. He's really good at wanting to stay close to the source material and whatnot. And then they brought in another guy named David Mazel, who he was really big on wanting to do things themselves. Like they didn't want to have to go through studios and whatnot. Eventually, because of how good of a job he did, the company that merged together, they actually made him president for the Marvel Entertainment section. So he was the one that kind of kicked everything off. They brought in Kevin Feige. I don't know why I was drawing a blank on his name. He's back. He's basically the brainchild. He was never a comic book guy, but he was a movie guy. So he came up, and then when he finally got to this level, he went back and just started reading all the comics. So he had a really unique perspective of he's looking at it as from the movie industry as opposed to just being a comic fan and growing up. So you're obviously going to look at it differently. He was really big on wanting it to also stay like the comics. So that's why this Marvel universe where everyone's intertwined, that was the comics. And he said, like, this is what we need to stay at, right? So then they brought in John Favreau. I was going to say Kevin again. And he was he didn't have a ton under his belt, but he was so character driven, and that's basically what these characters all needed, right? They needed a face. They needed it to be about them, not necessarily about just what they're doing. And he was really good at that, and he brought that out of everybody. Yeah, I don't want to get too far because I feel like the more I talk about this stuff is going to be more about going further into like the rest of the Marvel universe. But there's all these small little things, and like Marvel hadn't made any. Like Marvel's first film was Howard the Duck. So you know how well that. Yeah, I see you don't. It was.
I know he was a cameo in what end credit scene was it? The Deadpool one? Was it Deadpool or was it Guardians? No, it was Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
Guardians. Yeah. That's it. That's all I know.
I was gonna say it, but I was like, that's her favorite film. I'll let her figure that one out.
But going off of your point, we went down this rabbit hole yesterday, and I said I have to look up when Disney bought Marvel because I am a certified Disney hater. They ruined Star Wars in my eyes. So I believe they will inevitably, if they haven't already, but they will ruin Marvel with how much they beat dead horses, and their dialogue is so surface level, and they're still making money, and some of their movies are still entertaining, but I think inevitably they will destroy Marvel just like every other franchise they touch. Anyways, Iron Man was so Disney purchased Marvel or acquired Marvel 1 year after Iron Man 1. And I said to you yesterday, I said, there is a huge difference between this Iron Man movie and the Disney Marvel movies we see today. And I think number one is the dialogue. Number one. That like because I found this movie was not actually a comedy. Like I would actually think that these Marvel movies nowadays are more comedies than actions. They put in so many witty jokes, and I feel like they actually focus their time writing jokes, and they do actual like proper dialogue between the characters. This movie had proper dialogue. But when it was funny, it was funny.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
it's all about being subtle.
Yeah, and I do think Iron Man or Tony Stark is supposed to be a sarcastic, witty, funny guy. Again, I don't know the comics, but from what I do know about the comics, he is what we see in the movie. That's his personality. Or pretty spot on anyways. So I appreciated the level of humor where they didn't kill it. They didn't overdo it, but they did have it in there, and what was in there was funny.
I agree.
So
Yeah, yesterday when we were talking about it, I was referring to Star Wars before and after Disney, like we were saying, like that was with like Han Solo and Chewbacca. Chewbacca would roar something, you have no idea what he's saying. It was just the reaction from Han Solo, which made it comical. Or the same thing with C-3PO and R2-D2, right? Whereas in the
yeah,
newer ones, they were trying to do like almost like stand-up comedy, like physical comedy where they're
yeah.
slapping each other's heads around, like, I don't understand what's going on. Like it just it just didn't sit right the same as the other ones did. And I feel the same way
Di
with newer Marvel versus older Marvel.
Disney needs to learn that not every character in every movie needs to be funny. Like the OG Star Wars, they had comedic relief characters for a reason
Yep.
to lighten the mood, but overall, it was a pretty serious film. This Iron Man movie, ev nobody in that movie was funny really, other than Tony Stark, and even then, it wasn't overkill. You
Right.
know, he was just sarcastic. But yeah, I that's why I do think this is the best Marvel movie of all time.
I agree 100%. Um, so I'm going to assume that for the Simon William Defoe Man Award, it doesn't really apply here because I feel like everyone should be in the roles that they're in. What about the Paul Giamatti Award? Like, is there somebody in this movie that you thought was super intense or,
Super intense,
yeah, like
like
for me,
like
like Paul
like
Giamatti, whenever he gets his dialogue going, he becomes super fast. Like you can just see like the pressure building in his face because he gets really into the
oh,
dialogue, right? And
right.
I didn't think that there was anybody in that. I thought everyone was usually pretty chill throughout this whole film. The closest one I thought would have been Tim Guinea. He played Major Allen. He was the guy that was that told the Raptors to open fire. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, it wasn't overly intense, but it seemed like it was a little over the top for someone that hadn't done anything, and all of a sudden he wanted to shoot
Yeah.
it down. So,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
I thought
um,
Jarvis, whoever voiced Jarvis did a fantastic job.
whoever
Whoever
voiced
for
Jarvis,
whoever who voiced Jarvis. Is it
well,
someone I know?
you should. It's Paul Bettany. He becomes Vision.
No way. Okay. Interesting.
Oh, okay. Wow. I just assumed you
Okay.
knew.
No.
It's it's actually he actually becomes, because of what happens with well, we're getting into a different movie or whatever, but
Well, in the
it pulls
Avengers, like
Jarvis out.
that, yes, yes. But
He,
I'm gonna
he,
be completely honest with you. I didn't know it was him that voiced in Iron Man 1.
oh,
You know what I mean?
yep.
Um, I didn't know it was the same actor, but I do know like he becomes Vision later on, but I didn't know that he voiced Jarvis in the first Iron Man movie. I didn't
Yeah.
know that. That was interesting.
Yeah, he's married to Jennifer Connelly, actually. If you know who that is. No? You didn't watch the new Top Gun movie?
No, I haven't seen any Top Guns.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, you're gonna have to watch those because we're gonna have to do those films eventually.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do peak. Is this Marvel's peak? Is this Robert Downey Jr.'s peak? I actually think it might actually be. I think 2008 might be Robert Downey Jr.'s peak. It's not necessarily a peak, because it could be a peak and then a plateau. Because Tropic Thunder also comes out the same year in 2008, and those are
Mm.
two fantastic films, like this and that one. Completely different. Robert Downey Jr. obviously plays Kirk Lazarus, but
It may not be quote unquote peak, but I think a better word is it's Robert Downey Jr.'s kickoff. Because
true.
like because afterwards, so he did Tropic Thunder, like you said, and then he did Sherlock Holmes, and then all the other Marvel movies. Don't ask me what else he's in. I don't know. But like
2014, he was in The Judge. The Judge was really good. That was with Robert Duvall. If
okay.
you haven't seen that, you need to watch that. It's really good. It's basically
But
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Tell me what it's about. We'll do that episode right now.
No, he's just a Robert Downey Jr. is a lawyer in Chicago, and his mother passes away. Uh, so he has to go back to, I think it's Evansville, Indiana. So he gets back there. His dad's a judge in that town, and some stuff happens, and he ends up having to defend his dad.
Okay, I've seen clips of this movie. Yes, I do. I do. I haven't seen it front to back, but I've seen clips. But yeah, anyways, what was I saying? Oh, so yeah, even if we wouldn't consider it peak, it's definitely like RDJ's kickoff. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
Because his career just went and then I think to this day, like people know him as Iron Man. I mean, he
yeah.
has that like he is Iron Man. Some people say he's Sherlock Holmes. Okay, whatever.
No,
You're
he's
just
Iron Man.
you're just a you just want to be different if you're
Yeah.
saying that. But no, he's Iron Man. So I think I think this is Marvel's peak though. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I think Marvel has created fantastic movies afterwards for sure.
So
But
would this not be the same thing as RDJ then? It'd be this is Marvel's kickoff, and then from there because the Avengers movies were pretty awesome. Like not all of them. Like the first one was good. The second one I didn't care for as much. But Infinity War and Endgame I thought were brilliant. I watched those all the time.
I'm more just saying, is any of them better than the first Iron Man? Personally, I wouldn't say so. I would say they're pretty on par, but I wouldn't say so. I'm biased because I am a certified Disney hater, but I don't like Peak is like the best. And then you have the other Iron movies. What? The other Marvel movies that have come out afterwards that have come close or have gotten like even. I don't know if any of them are better. And I think I'm like being a hypocrite right now, or I'm contradicting myself because a while ago I said Guardians of the Galaxy was my favorite Marvel movies of all time. I
It still can be. It's for
they're
different reasons
good.
though.
They're
Yeah.
great. I would tie them though. Like I would probably put them tied with the first Iron Man movie. I like Guardians of the Galaxy because all three were good in my opinion. Iron Man 2 and 3 aren't as good. Iron Man 1 is the golden goose egg, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm actually glad the way how they so originally the studio wanted was it the studio or maybe it's John Favreau, I can't remember. They actually wanted the Mandarin to be the bad guy in the first one. So, but there's a lot of things that they put into the first one, like the 10 rings, which is like you can see the flag in the background after Tony gets captured. The 10 rings are also the Mandarin later on. So they've obviously connected a bunch of things, but I'm glad that they went the way they did because a lot of people didn't think the second and third one were as good as the first. But again, you've got superheroes fighting supervillains, and I think that's part of the problem is that you're putting people on par. Which for me, I always liked watching. Like I said, like I always go back to the original Supermans. Him doing all those fantastic feats without anybody else around, him going against someone that's the same as him is the same thing as a regular guy fighting a regular guy, as far as I'm concerned. It's just exacerbated 1,000 times because their hits are harder, but they can take them
Yeah.
that much or that much better, right? So I don't know.
I
It's
really I really liked the villain in this movie.
mhm.
I really liked I yeah, like you said, he was just a kind of a rich, powerful man who built a suit to go against Iron Man. And I liked how there was some emotional attachment there. It's not just some random guy from space that wants to kill the whole universe. It's an
Yeah,
actual real life person that Tony Stark knows. So I appreciated that as well.
he he's
It
actually
kind of makes you hate them more. You know what I mean? When you're watching the film, it's like, oh, I hate that guy.
well,
Like,
it's just corporate greed, right? That's all it is.
100%,
It's
yeah.
corporate greed, and he wants to be the CEO of the company, but he's actually my nitpick in this film. Obadiah Stane.
Hmm.
We'll just jump to the nitpick section because I had an issue with him having that suit and being able to do the things he could do. Like they concentrated so much on the beginning of the film and Tony Stark having to learn and go, like you said earlier, go through all those things where he got hurt and trial this, trial that. He literally put the suit on him and he was able to fight better. So you've got a suit that's way bigger than you are. So nothing's going to feel normal. You know what I mean? Like reaching for
Yeah.
something, it's not actually your hand, whereas Iron Man
And
was.
flying.
Yes.
Flying, bro.
He
How
could
can
do
you fly?
everything just as good as Tony Stark, and that bothered me. So, because like, he even admitted it was his first time in the suit. He goes, "This suit's amazing. I see why you like this, Tony." And all of a sudden, he's just as good. I have this issue with a lot of movies when someone new comes in and all of a sudden has the same power or whatever, and they're just as good. Like Star Wars with Rey. Never had an ounce of training, but she's beating a guy that's, yeah, exactly.
I hate talking about that.
All right, so let's get back to Iron Man. But yeah, so that was my
no,
nitpick.
you know what? Now that you said it, I see it. I completely agree. For some reason, when I was watching it, that didn't even cross my mind. I was just like, oh, they're gonna fight. They're gonna punch each other. But I never really thought about that. But my favorite quote in the whole film was said by the villain. And for some reason, it makes me giggle. When he is yelling at the scientist and goes, "Tony Stark built this in a cave with scraps." And it kind of goes on to my other point, which is, and I'm guilty of saying this, my brothers are guilty of saying this. We all say Tony Stark is just a rich guy in a suit. He's not a superhero. He's just a hero because he's just a rich guy in a suit. But after watching this film, it has reminded me, I'm not going to say that I didn't know this because obviously he's a smart guy, but it reminded me about how much of a genius Tony Stark actually is. Like full blown physicist, scientist, like crazy genius he is. Like rivals, any other Avenger or any other superhero in my opinion.
Right.
So in terms of intelligence.
That was why him and Bruce Banner got along, because Bruce Banner is another really, really smart guy, right? So
yeah. But that movie reminded me because everybody always says, "Oh, he's just rich. He's just rich. Anybody can be a hero if they're rich." No, he's actually insanely smart, and I don't think people appreciate that. So I had to say that, and that's why that's my favorite quote.
It's the same thing as Batman, right? Everyone says the same thing. He's just a rich guy in a suit. Well, he's obviously a little bit more than that, because there's lots of rich guys out there that aren't going around helping people or have the ability to do the things that they do. So I mean, there's a long road to get to where these guys had to get to be able to do the things that they could do.
Yeah, let me see your abs, bro. You want to say that about Batman? Let me see your abs. Let me see your six
exactly. So the other nitpick I had was whenever Iron Man goes to Galmira and he says, "He's all yours." and then he flies away, right? At no point anywhere else in any other films does his voice sound like that. He just has the normal Robert Downey.
Batman.
Almost, yeah.
He's trying to give a Batman.
I'm Batman.
Yeah.
But at least that had unfortunately you had to get to the Ben Affleck series until you finally see that he's got something on his throat, and that's what's changing his voice. It never showed that in any of the Christian Bale films, which always bugged me, because there were scenes there where he was going against what's his face at the end, Liam Neeson. I can't think of his character's name. Azagul. He's still doing the voice. Nice kitty. He's still doing the voice, and it's like, he knows who you are. Like, why are you still doing this voice? But if he's got that voice thing on, that makes sense. But they should have somewhat emphasized that, or at least shown him putting it on or something. Because in the Ben Affleck ones, it shows him taking it off.
Well, going off of what you said, whether he was trying to hide his identity when he said it like that or what, I don't really know what the whole goal was there, because you're right, he doesn't sound any different anywhere else. But kind of that reminded me of why I also appreciate Iron Man more than other superheroes is because I find all of these superheroes follow the same trope where they hide their identity, they hide who they are, but they have two lives. They're like Hannah Montana-ing it. And Tony Stark goes up there and goes, I'm Iron Man. Like, I don't care. And what, I don't know whether it's because he wants the fame or he wants the riches or he wants to, like, for selfish reasons or whatnot. I don't know. But I kind of enjoy that people just know who he is. So we don't have to go
Yeah.
through all that identity crisis bullshit that every superhero movie does.
Yep. Yeah, I like that too, actually. And that was an ad lib line. Like Downey was supposed to be reading that or reading his lines or whatever, and he just turned and said, "I am Iron Man." It wasn't even in the script, which doesn't surprise me because from everything I read, they didn't really use the script a whole lot, which is why I said that in the opening line. There was that there was times where they would go into Jeff Bridges' trailer and they would hash out what they were going to say. Like that's how there's a quote from Jeff Bridges. He's saying, "This is a $200 million movie, but it's a student film. Just look at it like that. We'll all have fun." And it comes across that on screen that it was just a good time to be there on the set, which I thought was kind of cool. A little scary when you're throwing around 200 million, but
which also solidifies my point where I don't care what anybody says. RDJ is Tony Stark. Oh, your Siri wants to have a conversation with you.
Apparently. Yeah, one of the other memorable quotes that I liked, because that you said yours, it was earlier on when he's in the Humvee and the guy says, "Is it true you went 12 for 12 with the cover of the you went 12 to 12 with the girls on the cover of Maxim?" And he said, "Yes and no. April or May had a scheduling conflict, but luckily December had twins." And that to me, that kind of embodied the whole Tony Stark, playboy, which he says later on in the Avengers, playboy, philanthropist, genius, whatever, right? So billionaire.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just funny, but you can see how his character completely evolves, obviously, across the 2 hours. He's not the same guy at the end that he is in the beginning.
No, he his core personality is the same, but he definitely changes for the better. But it's still Tony Stark. Tony Stark will always be Tony Stark. And after this movie, there are some people that like just disagreeing to disagree.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't think RDJ is Iron Man, something's wrong
with them.
Yeah, like seek help. Something's wrong. Like my mom always told me there's no such thing as wrong opinions. That's a wrong opinion. That's like objectively wrong. I think I told you not to ask me the recasting question because I won't give you an answer for Robert Downey Jr. Anybody else, sure, if I did research I could find someone. Robert Downey Jr., no. There literally is nobody else.
Yeah.
No.
I agree. There was they did talk about like the people that were brought up before him. It was Tom Cruise, Nicolas Cage.
Oh my God, could you imagine Nick Cage?
I know.
Guys, we've seen him in Ghost Rider. Enough is enough.
Liam Neeson, I think, was the other one. Oh. None of them anywhere close.
Nick Cage, man, come on.
There you go. There's the Simon Award right there. Are you for real, man? Come on. He's gonna hate this now. He was gonna like the award in the beginning.
He'd be like, Ian, come on, man.
You guys are assholes.
Pretty much. Yep. He's gonna come on the next episode and he's gonna be like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Hey, Simon, what do you think the best Simon Award should be for this one? I did forget to mention, though, that how much everybody made, and it was actually quite surprising. So Jeff Bridges made somewhere between $2 and $3 million. Gwyneth Paltrow also made between $2 and $3 million. Terrence Howard was 3.5 to 4.5, somewhere in there, and Robert Downey Jr. made $500,000. So he also had like back end box office deals. So I mean, I'm sure he made more than just the 500,000. But his problem was just because of his colorful past, we'll call it. It was he was a worry for the studio, even though it was Jon Favreau and some of the Kevin Feige. They both wanted Robert Downey Jr. So
Well, I'm assuming it's gone up over the years.
yeah, a couple bucks here and there.
Couple bucks.
So, but yeah, I was really surprised when I saw that. I was like, wow. And so Terrence Howard, who's the highest paid, he went into negotiations for the second film and he wanted more, I think, something like that. And the studio wanted to give him less because he doesn't have nearly as big of a role as the other people in the film, but he's getting paid more than everybody else. But that's also because he came off an Oscar, a bunch of nominees. So I mean, he's a very talented guy, very smart guy. He may just push the envelope just a little too far for the studio, and they just kind of went in a different direction, and they end up bringing in Don Cheadle. So
Right.
yeah. So what's your final verdict on the film, and then a rating out of 10, or should we do a rating out of 33 just to make it fucking weird? I'm just kidding. Let's just stick with 10.
33 fits.
Sure.
It fits.
Let's do it at 33 then.
I like myself some play on words. I would give it a 34.8 out of. Wait, what?
Yeah.
I don't know how to count.
33.
Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You know
32.
What? Maybe we should stick with 10.
I can't even. I can't.
All your numbers are on your fingers there.
I can't go so high. I would give it out of 10, a 9.8.
Wow, it's pretty aggressive.
If they had iPhones, 10.
And monitors that weren't so chunky looking. Yeah, I would definitely give it a 9, like a nice solid 9. It literally kicked off everything in the Marvel universe. It put pressure on the DC universe.
It really did. I mean, there was no other Marvel before this. So, and then now we have what we know as Marvel today, and I think it is because of the Ironman movie.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like they had Spider-Man, and that was obviously Sony Studios, so they made like next to nothing. Well, I think they made $60 million from it, but still, they realized that their IP had value, and that's why they went back into obtaining all their licensing for their stuff, which was a long road, but it kicked off 27 films, I think, something like that.
Well, Bully Maguire got nothing on my Tony Stark, so I didn't like him as Spider-Man anyways. He looked old, didn't he? I feel like he looked old.
I just never liked him. I've never liked him in anything. Actually, the only thing that I liked him in is when they brought him back as Spider-Man. I actually didn't mind him in that one, only because it was that was more of a nostalgic thing. But I really liked the fact that everybody else had cartridges, and for some reason in the Tobey Maguire films, it just came out of his wrist, which I thought was really weird because part of the stuff in like the cartoons, anyways, he'd be falling and he'd run out of web and he'd have to quickly swap out a cartridge and then, and that's the whole reason why he touches the 2 fingers to his palm is because there's a pad in there that activates the cartridge to shoot it. Why was Tobey Maguire doing it? He should have just had his hand straight down and just letting it fly out.
You know, tune in next episode.
All right, so we got a 9.8 and a 9. So obviously it was a good film.
Yeah.
All right. Well, once again, thanks for coming on and doing this.
Thanks for having me. It was great.
And we will talk to everybody next time.